Hey folks, thought it was probably time to do an update. There's stuff going on in the world, I don't know if you've noticed, and it affects us as event organisers, as the website, as people that go to events and do videos, as everything. So yeah, this whole worldwide virus situation has been an interesting time for us. So it kind of escaped anybody's notice that's coming to the weekend that we've had to move it. And we moved it to July. That was the best date available to us from Goodwood. So let me just explain that. So the Festival of Speed was on the weekend we were on originally, which is I think 11th and 12th of July, if my memory serves me right. And they've moved because this whole virus thing, by April time, no one really knew what was going on, and we still don't know what's going on. We will come on to that. But what happened was, for them, their lead time up to their event is so long, there's so much to organise, there's so much happening, that like in April they're already kind of having to commit to that event. And given the even more unknown situation in April, they couldn't commit to doing an event in July. So they pulled from that weekend. We, on the other hand, can actually put together our event much quicker. Ideally, I'd have at least a month run up, but if push came to shove, we can make an event where a bunch of cars turn up in a place and get to run on the track and everyone has a good time, probably within a couple of weeks, if I'm honest. But ideally, we'd have a little bit longer to make it a little bit better. So we've taken that weekend. The government advice at the moment is still a bit too vague for us to be able to say whether or not that's going to go ahead. It's possible. Occasionally it feels unlikely, and occasionally it feels likely. So depending on what day of the week you catch me on, I'll be like, yeah, sure, it's going ahead, or no, it's not, never going to happen. So we are still taking a wait and see approach with the Weekender, because the rules around events and hospitality, which is what we fall under, were changing at the end of June. We're middle of July, but no one knows what the numbers are going to do. Probably, like, there's projections and what they look like. Maybe they'll go better than we thought, maybe they'll go worse, and everything gets locked down again. So right now we're still working towards that date. The problem we have is that it's hard to advertise an event that may or may not occur. So we're going to have a situation whereby we'll have some level of actual green light that we can commit to doing this event, and we may have a very, very, very short time span in order to put this event together. So we're going to need everyone's help on that, get the word out there. I think in our favour is the fact that if it does go ahead, it might be one of the first events of the year to happen. So people might be really excited to come to a car show. We may well have to do some social distancing stuff in there. It may be masks, it may be everything contactless. Like, we'll deal with that. Like, we are adaptable, we can deal with these things. So stick with us, we'll see. It may be that it gets cancelled, and we'll refund everybody. That's kind of a possibility. It's a distinct possibility. We will always seek to refund. We will offer rollovers, but ultimately, you know, you've given us your money for an event, and we're not giving you that event. So we could do credit for next year or something, but we'll work out that when we come to it. We are already doing refunds. I processed the first batch a couple of weeks ago. I'm processing the second batch tomorrow, so if you are waiting on a refund, apologies about that. We're trying to batch them up, because it just makes kind of easier when we're moving money backwards and forwards, because it costs us money to refund, because we have to pay back processing fees. So we are technically losing money on all the refunds we're doing, and that's not a reason not to do them, because, you know, it's your money, your hard-earned money. So gathering itself as well, so that's in August. That's looking a bit more likely, but again, you know, if we're shut down again in July for whatever reason, then maybe that won't occur. So we're working hard on that behind the scenes. Rodrigo from Hill Climb Monsters is lining up a load of great cars. The European Hill Climb Championships are not running this year, or at least their season's much curtailed. So there's a possibility that a few of those guys will kind of want to do some hill runs, and we've got a hill and some contact, so it may be that lineup is super mega spectacular beyond just the usual spectacular that it always is. We have some contingency plan for that if we can't run it as an event. Shelsley, last time I spoke to them, which was a week and a half ago, are looking to run their competitive season without crowds because they can social distance the competitors and stuff like that. So we could do some live stream of something fun for that. I don't know what that looks like the cost of the hill and organising it, unless someone comes on sponsors, or we can get, you know, a bunch of people to chip in a $5 for the stream or something. I don't know. Like there is a financial pressure on that happening that we might be able to deal with if we have some help. So yeah, let's see where we are with that. Ideally that's going ahead. Like, that seems the most likely to go ahead at the moment. Weekender seems like it could do, but it's in a very, very grey area. The gathering is in a slightly less grey area, but it's still grey. Like, we have no real steer, we have no real date. We just have a chart with numbers on it that goes from whatever it is, 1 to 5, and when we're down to 1 we can do whatever the hell we want. But I don't know where events fit in that. Like, it's an outdoor event, but it's a big outdoor event. It's not, you know, it's not festival size, people aren't crammed in, but it's still of reasonable size. It's possible they may put size limits on it. You know, if we can't have events over 2,000 people, say, then, you know, we can make that happen just about. We take a bit of a bath on it, but it might be worth it for people to come and have a car show, really. So this also has a knock-on impact on the rest of the RetroRides stuff. So RetroRides, you know, first and foremost, before it was a show, it was a forum, and it is still a forum. It's a forum that's grown, and the costs of running that forum are quite high nowadays, particularly if we do all our own image hosting, because PhotoBucket and things are all horrible. And it's a community that's expanding in many ways. Weirdly, the lockdown's been really beneficial for us in that regard. Like, there's a lot of people using the forum, there's loads of great threads. If you're not already on the forum, forum.retro-rides.org, go and have a look, it's great. But the cost of running that forum is usually offset by the merch that we sell at the shows, and that's probably not going to happen this year, so we're having a think on that. Right now, the people that are members of Club RetroRides, thank you very much, are really keeping us going. So I started that with the express intention of organising some really small scale kind of just club only events. So at the moment it's 160 odd members. We were going to do some events and track days and stuff, and obviously with what's going on at the moment, the events can't happen. So thanks to everyone that's carried on being members, thanks to the people that have joined recently as well. That's great. It's really helping us out, and we will pay you back with all of the goodness that was promised, but probably in 2021. Talking of track days though, the Slip and Grip Automotive RetroRides track day is happening on the 27th of July, and they are 90% sure that's going to be going ahead, because that can definitely be social distanced. That, you know, it's not going to be the same kind of closed in atmosphere as you might get previously, but you know, you get to go and take your cool car on track, and if these other events get cancelled, then that's a good way of doing it. So have a look on, probably Facebook's your best bet, Slip and Grip Automotive, and the RetroRides track day is their next one. Hook up with those guys. Even better, join Club RetroRides and then hook up with those guys, because you get a 10% discount on your entry. Beyond all of this stuff, beyond the show stuff, beyond the website stuff, we're working really hard on our YouTube videos. The whole plan for this year was to go to loads of events and do lots of individual feature cars like that we'd done at SEMA last year, and this can't happen. So we started the podcast earlier in the year, and that's been going great. We had Johnny Smith, Bryn, Musselwhite. We've just done Larry Chen, photographer from the States. Next week is Amy Shaw, who is a British photographer, very iconic kind of style. And in between there's Simon and I talking about stuff, really. It's been entertaining so far. We've had Cal from Retro Power, was probably our most popular one so far, him talking about the origins of Retro Power and his thoughts processes with cars. We've just literally yesterday recorded a Skype conversation between me and Simon, talking about the cars that he draws. We've done 2 of those so far. We want to talk about your cars, so if anybody wants to send us pictures of your cars and details of your cars, and we can talk about what we think about them and all that stuff, will probably be quite nice. So that's coming up, and next Wednesday, most importantly, is the premiere at 7 PM on Wednesday of the SEMA video. So we ended up with a whole lot of footage from SEMA, and there was a lot to wrangle there, and we were trying to do like a travel log as well as show off some cars, and it's taken us until now, and even across quite a lot of the amount of lockdown we've had, to actually get that into an hour-long video. And that is going to premiere next Wednesday at 7 PM, and our plan is at 8 PM afterwards we'll do a live stream of a Q&A, or just us talking about our experience of it if no one wants to ask us any questions. So join us for that. That will be on YouTube, so don't tell Facebook about that. But RetroRides YouTube channel is, I think, RetroRides website, but just look up RetroRides TV and you will find it. And then on our Instagram, just pictures, if you like your pictures, and if you want to be notified when we got new podcasts going live and new videos and all that kind of stuff, that's on our Instagram stories. It would be great if we could get about 200 odd more people on there, because then we hit our 10,000 and then we can start sharing links. So yeah, that's us, that's the update. Show's probably going ahead, maybe, I don't know. We are in the same boat as everyone else, so we will see. We will obviously notify you guys when we know, when we're sure of one way or the other, and we will always do our best by you guys. We will look after you, we will look after our staff, and we will also try and give you the best time we possibly can. And if that does mean cancelling until next year, we will do it, but if it does mean we can do our shows on our current weekends, we will do it. So fingers crossed. We will see you in a month and a half's time, 2 months, whatever it is, if not in 3 months time, and we will get to do car shows and we will get to do this car thing. If we don't get to do that, then we will see you next year, but for the time being, keep hope alive and look after yourselves.